The power of perception. Machiavelli's secret weapon. Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to win, while others, even more talented or kind, are forgotten? The truth is simple but harsh. Life doesn't reward fairness, it rewards strategy. And Machiavelli discovered the secret trait that gives people an unfair advantage: the power to shape perception. Across all time, in kingdoms, companies, and politics, one rule never changes. People are ruled not by truth, but by what they believe is true. It's not who you are that matters, it's what others think you are. History is full of leaders who were weak in reality, but looked strong, and no one dared to challenge them. And just as many good men failed, not because they lacked virtue, but because they didn't know how to make their virtue visible. Machiavelli wrote that most people never look beneath the surface. They see only what's in front of them: symbols, style, appearance. That's why the person who controls appearances holds real power, even without great skill or morality. Think about it. A cowardly leader who looks brave will be followed like a lion, but a truly brave man who seems uncertain will be ignored. It's not reality that rules, it's perception. And reputation, though invisible, is more valuable than gold. Once people believe you are wise or powerful, their belief sustains itself. But once they see you as weak, even your strengths will be doubted. This is the cruel paradox of power. It's better to seem strong than to be strong. Mastering perception gives you the power to shape reality itself. When people act based on what they believe about you, you win without effort. A general who looks unbeatable may win before the battle begins. A rich-looking merchant attracts more wealth. A scholar who looks wise gets invited to councils of power. This isn't simple deception, it's art. It's about building an image so consistent, so believable, that people never question it. You create your own myth and live it so fully that others accept it as truth. But here's the warning: if you start believing your own illusion, you become a fool. Perception is a weapon, not a replacement for skill or strength. The mask can open doors, but only strategy can keep them open. That's why Machiavelli said, "Appear merciful, appear honest, appear kind, but keep a strong hand ready when needed." Because if you're only acting and not thinking strategically, your mask will fall. The deeper secret of perception is emotional control. It's not only about what people see, it's about how they feel when they see you. Appearances trigger emotion: fear, trust, respect, envy. And emotions control behavior far more than truth ever does. People don't follow logic, they follow impressions. They don't study your real nature, they react to the image you project. Control perception, and you control emotion. Control emotion, and you control people. That is Machiavelli's hidden law of power. The world doesn't move by truth, it moves by perception. And those who master perception master people. The mask of power. Machiavelli's second secret: perception is your armor. It protects you in every meeting, every deal, every relationship. With it, you can walk among lions as if you are one of them, even if, inside, you are still sharpening your claws. Without it, you might be a lion at heart, but to the world, you'll look like prey. To truly master perception, you must understand the next secret: the mask of power. Perception doesn't happen by luck, it's built with intention. If you want to appear powerful, you must build the image of power. If you want to seem virtuous, you must wear the clothing of virtue, even when your plans are darker underneath. This art of keeping the mask, of showing strength even when your base shakes, separates the forgotten from the feared. The mask of power is not a lie, it's a strategy. It's an identity you create so consistently that people cannot tell the difference between your image and your reality. The wise never reveal too much of themselves. They hide their weaknesses and emotions behind a useful mask. A ruler doesn't have to be merciful, but he must look merciful when it helps him. He doesn't have to be honest, but he must seem honest when it wins trust. He doesn't have to be fearless, but he must appear fearless when others depend on his strength. The mask is not falsehood, it's control. Because in a world ruled by appearances, those who control appearances control destiny. Look at history's great leaders. Most were not saints or perfect men. They were masters of the mask. They knew people don't really want truth. They want comfort, hope, and symbols to believe in. A leader who wears the mask of virtue gives them that comfort, even if his heart hides vice. A general who wears the mask of courage inspires armies, even if he fears death in private. The mask doesn't just hide your weakness, it gives others something to believe in. People crave certainty and stability. Once they believe in your mask, they will defend it, even against proof. They will deny your flaws and justify your mistakes, because they don't want their belief to be wrong. But beware, one crack in the mask can destroy everything. Once doubt appears, it spreads like poison. That's why Machiavelli warned, a ruler must always seem steady and in control, even in defeat. It's easier to keep an illusion than to rebuild one after it breaks. Still, the mask must adapt. You cannot wear the same face with everyone. To the public, wear the mask of justice and kindness. To your rivals, wear the mask of power and fear. To your allies, wear the mask of loyalty, even when you are quietly calculating their value. Each mask serves a purpose, and the one who controls them all becomes untouchable. The mask doesn't destroy your true self. It protects it. Behind it, you can think clearly, plan freely, and act without exposing your weaknesses. The mask is your fortress. It keeps others from reading your heart or using your emotions against you. A man without a mask is naked in the arena of power, exposed to every glance, every whisper, every betrayal. But here lies a deeper truth. The mask doesn't only fool others, it changes you. When you play the role of power long enough, you start to become powerful. The mask trains your mind, shapes your habits, and reminds you of the image you must live up to. In time, the mask and the man become one. That's why weak men fail at pretending power. They cannot bear the weight of the role. They break before the illusion becomes real. But the one who endures, who wears the mask with patience, becomes what he pretends to be. The mask of power is not deception, it's survival. It is the art of hiding what must stay hidden and showing only what gains control. It bends the behavior of everyone who sees it. Once you master it, people project their hopes, fears, and desires onto you. They follow not the real you, but the illusion you control. Yet, there is one more law. The mask can only hold if you control your emotions. Anger cracks it, desire stains it, fear breaks it. If you cannot master yourself, the mask will fail. That is why Machiavelli's next secret is emotional detachment. The mask of power cannot survive if you are ruled by your feelings, because the moment emotion takes over, the illusion dies. To rule others, you must first rule yourself. Only then can the mask remain unbroken, and power truly yours. The art of detachment. Machiavelli's third secret. Most people believe they are free, but they are not. They are slaves to emotion, swayed by love, hate, envy, and greed. They react to every insult, every compliment, every feeling. Such men cannot rule others because they cannot rule themselves. They become predictable, easy to read, easy to control, and easy to destroy. But the man who masters detachment, who rules his own heart with cold reason, gains the power to rule the hearts of others. To be detached does not mean to be emotionless. It means you control emotion instead of being controlled by it. You know when to show kindness as a weapon, when to show anger to make a point, when to withhold affection to teach strength, and when to appear indifferent to gain power. Detachment creates distance, and distance gives you perspective. While others drown in their feelings, you stand above them, calm and calculating, waiting for the perfect time to act. Imagine a ruler being insulted in public. A weak man reacts in rage, revealing his insecurity, but a detached ruler stays silent, his mask unshaken. That calmness terrifies his enemies. They cannot read him, and in their fear, they imagine what he might do next. The emotional man reacts. The detached man controls the situation. Detachment also protects you from illusions that destroy others. How many men lose everything chasing love? How many ruin themselves in anger or fall into traps made of flattery? The detached man is immune. Praise doesn't blind him. Insults don't hurt him. Affection doesn't enslave him. He sees emotions for what they are, tools, not chains. This discipline is hard. It requires you to see yourself from the outside, to judge your choices not by how they feel, but by how they serve your long-term goals. You must treat emotions like instruments to be played, not storms to be trapped in. Most people lack this strength. They confuse impulse with truth. They think being emotional means being real, but Machiavelli would say, to feel without control is weakness, and weakness invites domination. Detachment gives you clarity. When others panic, you see clearly. When they celebrate, you stay cautious. When they despair, you remain calm. You are not tossed by the waves of fortune, you sail them. Fortune favors the one who stays steady while others lose control. Yet detachment doesn't mean isolation. If you feel nothing, people will turn against you. Detachment is not about removing emotion. It's about mastering its display. You still show compassion, anger, and joy, but only when it serves your purpose. Your emotions become performances, chosen moments, not random reactions. You cry to gain sympathy. You rage to inspire fear. You laugh to disarm suspicion. And yet, deep inside, you remain untouched. That is why the detached man is dangerous. No one can predict him. He doesn't act from impulse, he acts from strategy. While others react blindly, he sees the patterns behind their behavior. He notices how fear bends their spine, how envy poisons their words, how desire blinds their sight. He sees the strings that move people and learns to pull them. To master detachment is only the first step. The next is understanding human nature itself. For true power lies not just in controlling your emotions, but in controlling the emotions of others. Men believe they are unique, driven by ideals and logic. But strip away their words and you will find the same forces at work. Fear, desire, envy, pride, and the hunger for recognition. When you learn to anticipate these emotions, you can guide them like a current. Machiavelli observed that human nature never changes. Offer hope, and people will follow you. Threaten them, and they will obey. Flatter them, and they will serve you. Wound their pride, and they will destroy themselves trying to hurt you back. The wise ruler doesn't appeal to logic, he appeals to emotion. He doesn't argue with truth, he directs feeling. Because people do not move for what's true, they move for what they feel is true. Look at history. Crowds seek strong leaders not because they want truth, but because they want safety. Soldiers fight bravely, not because they understand the plan, but because they believe their leader is fearless. Courtiers serve not because of loyalty, but because they hope for reward. Once you see these patterns, you realize that human nature is not chaos, it's structure. And what has structure can be predicted. If you know a rival's vanity, you can use flattery to make him careless. If you know an ally's envy, you can stop his betrayal before it happens. If you know your enemy's fear, you can break him without a fight. The detached man sees these truths before anyone else. While others are reacting, he is already planning. He listens not to what people say, but to what drives them. Behind every claim of loyalty hides fear. Behind every call for justice hides envy. Behind every show of pride hides insecurity. Men act from self-interest, always. Even when they speak of sacrifice or virtue, they seek gain, safety, or recognition. A ruler who forgets this will be betrayed, but one who expects it will never be surprised. He uses human nature itself as his tool, rewarding men with the illusion of gain while binding them with dependence. True power, then, is not forcing others, it is guiding them. It is shaping the world so that people walk the path you choose, believing it was their own decision all along. To lead an army, you don't need every soldier to be brave. You only need them to believe that bravery is expected, so they won't dare to run away. To defeat your enemies, you don't always need to destroy them directly. You can simply let them destroy themselves through their own weaknesses, pride, greed, or fear. True power comes from anticipation, the ability not just to see what will happen, but to shape what happens. Yet, this knowledge is dangerous. Once you understand human nature, you might want to show it. But if you tell people you see through their fears and desires, they'll turn against you. No one likes to feel exposed. That's why understanding people must be done in silence. You act on what you know, but you never reveal it. You guide others without showing that you are guiding them. When you master perception, wear the mask of calm, and practice detachment, there's one final force that holds everything together: silence and mystery. Once you can anticipate human behavior, your greatest strength comes not from what you reveal, but from what you hide. The less people know about your plans, the more they imagine. And the more they imagine, the more power you have over them. People don't fear what they can see. They fear what they can't. They don't fear the open hand, but the closed fist, because the unknown strike is always the most terrifying. Machiavelli understood that too much clarity can weaken power. When others know your plans, they can defend against you. But when you move quietly, keeping your motives hidden, they're forced to guess. And in that guessing, they expose their own fears and weaknesses. Mystery multiplies your strength. Your enemies fight shadows while you keep your energy and focus. Silence isn't just the absence of words, it's a weapon. It means keeping your thoughts to yourself when others demand an answer. It means staying calm when others try to provoke you. When you let silence stretch, it becomes powerful, even frightening. A man who cannot stay silent gives himself away. His anger, pride, and fear spill out in his words. But the silent man, he cannot be read. No one knows if he's angry, calm, or planning his next move. His silence creates fear. Mystery deepens that fear. It's not just about what you don't say. It's about what you don't show. Be unpredictable. Don't always be available. Don't let people fully understand you. Appear when least expected. Disappear when they think they need you most. Leave your actions open to interpretation. The uncertain man is feared more than the clear one, because uncertainty eats at the mind. Think of a ruler who speaks too often, always explaining himself. Soon, people stop respecting his words. But a ruler who speaks rarely and lets silence hang after he speaks, his words strike like thunder. They are few but powerful. Mystery increases your value. The less you show, the more others believe there is something deep and dangerous inside you. Even in battle, silence and mystery are weapons. An army that moves quietly and unseen spreads fear long before the first strike. A rival who hides his plans forces his enemies to waste their energy preparing for dangers that may never come. The unknown is always more frightening than what is known. When people face mystery, their minds imagine the worst. And when they imagine the worst, they give you power without even realizing it. But silence and mystery must be used wisely. Too much silence creates suspicion. Too much mystery breeds paranoia. The skill lies in knowing when to reveal just enough to build trust, and when to hide enough to keep respect and fear. Give people only fragments, hints, and symbols, never the full truth. Let them see your good image, but not the hand that creates it. Let them feel your presence, but not too often, so they never stop desiring it. Let them believe they know you, while making sure they never truly do. This art also protects you from betrayal. When your true intentions stay hidden, even your closest allies can't harm you. They may scheme, but they scheme in darkness. They may whisper, but they whisper about shadows. The silent, mysterious man cannot be easily attacked, because no one truly knows his next move. He moves like the night, unseen until it's too late. Silence and mystery not only protect you, they also elevate you. People crave explanations. They want to know the hidden thoughts of those they admire or fear. When you deny them that, they begin to create myths about you. They speak of your wisdom, your cunning, your foresight, even if none of it is true. They credit you for victories that happened by chance. They assume you are plotting even when you are resting. They fear your revenge even when you have no such thought. Mystery fills the empty space of knowledge with imagination, and imagination always makes you appear greater than you are. The greatest rulers in history were not the loudest or most open. They were the quiet ones, hidden, calm, and unreadable. They let people believe more about them than they ever said themselves. That is why the art of silence and mystery is not just a tool of power, it is its crown. With it, perception sharpens, masks hold, detachment grows, and anticipation succeeds. Mystery completes the circle of control, yet even silence and mystery must be used with purpose. To stay silent forever is to disappear. To be mysterious without reason is to confuse, not command. Every silence must be chosen. Every mystery must be planned. You reveal only enough to keep others curious, never enough for them to fully understand you. It is at this point, when perception is mastered, the mask perfected, emotions controlled, and silence woven into mystery, that true power begins to take shape. Power is not something you are given or born with. It is something you build step by step through discipline, strategy, and calculation. And here lies the harsh truth Machiavelli whispered to princes. Power does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who seize it. It is not strength alone, for strength can be broken. It is not wealth, for wealth can be stolen. It is not even intelligence, for intelligence without cunning is like a sword in the hand of a child. True power lies in perception, in seeing the world not as it looks, but as it truly is. Those who master this move like shadows among men. They turn chaos into opportunity, enemies into tools, and destiny into design. The ordinary man clings to illusions. He shouts of fairness, morality, and justice, yet bows to those who dare to rise above such illusions. The extraordinary man, the one with vision, understands that perception is reality. He does not beg for fairness, he creates his own rules. He shapes the story and bends the world quietly to his will. This was Machiavelli's secret, not brute force, not loud speeches, but quiet control. The ability to move unseen, to influence without appearing to influence, to strike without being noticed, to win while others are still guessing. Such a man never plays the same game as the crowd. While others fight on the surface, he controls the board beneath their feet. Now you hold this secret in your mind. The question is, will you use it? Will you remain like the many, blind to the hidden patterns of power? Or will you sharpen your perception and join the rare few who shape history instead of merely surviving it? The choice is yours. But remember, the world does not reward the passive. It bows only to those who dare to claim what others fear to reach.